Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinars, Seniors and Investors, with MAPS coach Dan Ihara and guest Kent Leong. Please note that this webinar is being recorded and you will automatically receive the webinar recording. If you have questions for your coach, please type them in the questions box located in your webinar taskbar. Following the webinar, if you have any questions about today's call or coaching programs, please email us at fasttrack@kw.com. That's all from me. Dan, take it away.
Good morning, everyone. This is Kent Leong. I'm the COO of the Hara team, and I wanted to welcome you all. I'll be the host for this morning for this group coaching call. My background is I've been a partner with Dan now for about 8 years. Prior to joining into real estate, I was in the tech field in sales at Cisco Systems and Hawaiian Tel. So welcome to Building Your Business with Seniors and Investors. Let me turn it over to Dan. Here's Dan.
Aloha, everyone. Welcome. Good morning, good afternoon. 7 o'clock our time. It's probably noon your time or even later. Hey, so I just want to give you a little bit of background. I've been in real estate for 13 years. I'm the CEO of the Hara team. Last year, we closed in excess of $84 million of business. Been in Gary's mastermind group since I started with the company. Once he found out about our model. And then have also been a MAPS coach for almost the same amount of time. In our market, there's 7,000 agents. In your market, probably more. Though we've been in the top 100 in the last 11 years and have been honored with being one of the fastest 50 growing companies in the entire state of Hawaii of all businesses over the last 2 years, 2 years in a row. And I'm an investor at Keller Williams Honolulu and also Keller Williams in Maui. So if you have anybody that needs help there, please let us know. We can definitely help you. And then we built this thing called the Complete Solution. Now, the Complete Solution is really a family of companies that obviously we help people buy, sell, and invest in real estate. But we also have built a company called High Property Management, which really helps our investors who don't want to manage their properties anymore. So it's a property management firm. We also built a company called Senior Move Managers, which we'll talk a little bit about this industry. That will be a good feeder business for you and also a great referral source. We help people downsize, declutter, and move prior to them selling. And also built Declutter Hawaii. Stage Hawaii was built about a year ago because it was important that the homes look well before we sell them. And it was very expensive to go out and get staging done, so we built our own staging company and monetized the work that we used to do for free. And then also Silver Spoons is a nonprofit that we designed to help older adults who cannot help themselves. Inspired by Gary in the mastermind group about 2.5 years ago, he encouraged all of us to give back. So we've done that. We've built Silver Spoons, which is really helping older adults who cannot help themselves. And the newest thing we built is the Hara Training and Development, which is also called the Complete Solution USA, where we house all of this model that we have and have been traveling around the country to share that model. And
So that's an impressive resume, Dan, you got there. So 84 million, and I see your calendar. You did an excellent job of time blocking. So here's a question. Why are you doing this group coaching?
Well, about a year ago, when we met with Gary in his office, he suggested that we go out and share our model because he really believed that there's a whole market for this. And he said that from a personal experience. When his mother had to move her out of her house and go to her care home, he didn't have any solutions. So he said, man, I really wish I could have used your service. I wish that service was in our market, which it's not in many, many markets. So he suggested that we go out and train on our model and how do we help our Keller Williams agents become the expert in helping seniors transition life.
Absolutely. I think that's a fairly common theme, not just here in Hawaii, but as we traveled across the country, right? We've heard that from others as well. So,
yeah.
Well, please share with us, Dan, the journey of the Hara team.
Well, we started as a single agent, as some of you are, Obviously helping people buy, sell, invest. Initially started picking up business from open houses. And my very first listing was an older adult who had to sell her house to move to a retirement community. And she was a hoarder. And so it was a trail home, right? A trail from the door to the bedroom.
Yeah, I think I've seen a program or two about that. Yeah.
Hoarders, it's real. And she didn't sell it for a year. She called me, and then she wondered why she couldn't sell her hoardered house. She had an amazing view. And so we just, my wife and I and my family really went in and went to help this lady. We dropped a 40-foot container there and filled it with trash and cleared it out, and became the solution for her that she didn't have. So we started these things. We found that early on that there were a lot of seniors in the same position. So we partnered with the retirement community, and we built these seminars called Senior Living Options. And that was, within a year of me being licensed, I invested in a newspaper ad because that's where seniors look. And the ad was really about helping older adults sell their home. And then we started doing those seminars and found that a retirement community that was just coming up said, hey, can you come and partner with us? Right. So we did. And then they said, we got to fill our retirement community. I know you can help people do this. Can you come and share that? So that's how we started Senior Living Options.
Interesting.
And what was really interesting is their position was, if you can attract people to our community, maybe they'll move in. Right. And so we partnered with them in synergy to attract these folks. And we didn't only talk about them. We talked about the entire landscape.
Other communities as well?
Other communities as well. Yeah. So it gives them an option, right? It's not like, we're here to sell one community. People won't want to come to that. People will want to come to an environment where you educate them on, what does life look like when I get older and I need help? If I want to stay home, what kind of services can be brought in? And if I want to move out of my home, where can I go? What are those options? What do they look like? How much do they cost? And then the last part was, how do I get there? Right? What do I do with my stuff? How do I help? So we help them downsize and declutter and give them tips on that. So we created the complete solution for an older adult who's trying to figure out, well, my house isn't the best place for them. Where could they go? And how do I get there? And what does that look like? And we made that easy for them. So that really kind of took our business up a notch as well. And then we started building these seminars called 1031 exchange seminars, because what we found was, just organically, these older adults, they had real estate wealth, and they had investment properties, and they didn't know what to do with them. They didn't, they wanted to help their kids out, but they didn't know how. So we created a model to help them create a legacy with them, and then really got it off their plate and got it onto their kids' plate.
So you started as an individual agent back in 2005, one of 6,000 to 7,000 agents here on Oahu. You experienced what one senior went through, and at that time, was anyone else in the marketplace here in Hawaii doing this?
No, at that time nobody was, and even to this day there's only one or two, a couple that have followed my steps. But in honesty, we were doing something that nobody else was doing in our marketplace. There's good and bad with that. The good is I didn't have any competition. The bad is I didn't know when to follow. Right? So we're creating things that we didn't know what we were doing. And man, and when talking with Gary, he said, Gary told us that you built a model around it, help other people get there faster than the way you did it. Right?
Interesting. So when I look at your timeline here and your growth, so by learning the model, you'll be able to compress that 2006 event up through 2010 or so. Compress that into a much shorter time frame in order to capitalize on this market. It seems to be a growth market.
Yeah, we can shrink those years down significantly. It is a long-term play, though. So that's one of the things that I want to make sure all of our audience understands is this is not a get-rich-quick scheme. This is building a business and a model, and as Gary says, building a moat around your business, right? And building something so that you get so good at it, and it makes it harder for other people to compete with you in this area. And it's really important that we share that because really that's what we're doing. Is it's not a, hey, here's a lead, go turn this into money.
Gotcha.
This is building a real business around something that will last longer than my lifetime.
Okay, so I hear the opportunity. I've seen your growth. Seems like an excellent business model. So by joining this group coaching call, what should I expect to learn?
Well, we're going to cover a slew of things that are going to help you build your moat. First is really understanding the market and understanding the opportunity. Then we'll talk about senior living options, and we'll talk about how do you gather that information. And then we'll also talk about managing other real estate assets. And then really bottom line is securing listings, right? That's the whole reason why we're here. In Gary's triangle, it's leads, listings, leverage. And, we've done it, we've built it, and, he basically asked us to go and share it.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So the market is huge. And for those of you who haven't seen this chart before, we just pulled this off the Census Bureau. So it's real data. And, if we're focused on only listings, you're really going to want to start on the baby boomers and up, especially in times of the shift, right? Because during the shift, a young adult didn't want to sell because their values of your home hasn't grown yet.
Good point.
Right?
Yeah.
So you're looking at somebody who's owned their home for some time, have some equity, and these people are moving because of typically a health incident, a family situation. Just life has changed, right? They're baby boomers and older that are empty nested and just want a life change. So they're not selling because the market's so great. Because, in a shift, the market's not going to be great, right? We're going to see the shift. We feel it in most markets. It's going to go down a bit, and before it comes back up. And where are your listings going to come from? Right? So we started doing this in 2005, and, the market was just about there going down, 2005, 2006, 2007, 2008 time period, and our market grew. I mean, our listings grew. And
well, your team's revenue grew.
Yeah.
The market did not.
Correct. Thanks for pointing that out. Yeah, our personal business grew, but the market shrank. We didn't even know there was a problem in the market because we were just so busy. Because we were a head start of everybody else, but nobody figured this out yet, right? And this group coaching class, as you asked earlier, is really designed to expedite that process.
Okay. Well, yeah, if I look at this slide, and if I were to try and determine where would I want to focus my time and energy, if you say, well, size of market, Gen Z and millennials, it's a significant market size. But as you pointed out, if they were to buy and want to sell at some point, the equity may not be there. So we have one where the seller bought from us a couple of years ago, not a lot of equity in the home. He put it on the market. Now he's thinking about pulling it off.
Yeah.
Because he's not able to get enough money
they can't sell it.
to sell, right?
Yeah,
but if I focus on the baby boomers and the silent gen, if they've owned it for 30, 40, 50 years, pretty safe assumption to make that they have decent equity in the property.
Yeah, absolutely.
And their reasons for selling maybe a little different than the Gen X or millennials, right?
Absolutely. Their financial position is different, meaning they've got a lot more equity. They've owned their home for a lot longer time period, and it's appreciated over time.
So I'll focus on baby boomers and silent gen.
Yeah, if it's 50 plus, that's a target market for us.
Awesome. Okay. So what's the next step? What do I need to look at?
Well, it's really about you want to be the honey, right? So how do you attract people who are baby movers and up? People who are going to go through a life change, and some of our clients are still working but are planning to retire, right? Some have already retired, and some have got great grandkids, right? So that's kind of the market. So how do you approach that? And really, the way to do it, the way we did it, is being the solution for folks.
So where are they going? You're going to talk about that, and also why are they looking at these options?
Right. Well, the reason why they're looking at the options is typically they've got a big house and the kids are gone. Or they've got a house with stairs where they know that their knees and hips aren't going to do well with that over time. Or they're going to need health care, right? and or they just want to spend more time with their kids who don't live in the same community anymore. So they're going to be moving. Right? And with our Keller Williams networking, we've got tons of referrals out there that going to, because our clients are moving to multiple places around the country. So starting with age-restricted properties, and those are 55 and up properties typically. We don't have a lot of them in Hawaii, although there's a few, but in most states there's a lot of them. Del Webb leads the way in that, and those are age-restricted single-family homes.
Do I get to ride around in a golf cart?
You got it, man. You live on a golf course, you ride on a golf course, you just enjoy life with if you don't know, can't at that age. And they just enjoy life with the same demographic of people, right? And do the same things and just relax and just have a good time. Then some are going to downsize to a smaller house or condo or townhouse. In many communities, there's a revitalization of communities, and like in our market, Kaka'ako, where we've got these luxury condos where people are selling very valuable homes that are downsizing to a lifestyle that they don't have to worry. They can travel all they want. They can visit their kids. They can travel around the world, lock the doors, and have somebody else take care of the maintenance. They've got the resources to pay for it, right? So maintenance fee isn't an issue to them because they have enough money to do it. And it allows them to create a lifestyle that they enjoy versus having to worry about a home that's pretty much depreciated down, but also having some deferred maintenance or maintenance challenges.
I can certainly relate to that. My kids are out. I have a 5-bedroom house, and I really am not looking forward to every Saturday and Sunday cleaning the house.
I hear that you don't actually do that. Your wife does that, right? But anyways,
that's not my point.
But anyways, we have a lot of older adults now, and the boomers are the ones that are planning ahead because we want to be more mobile, right? Our kids are in different places in the country. We want to get up and go and spend time with them, and then when they have grandkids, when you have grandkids, you want to spend time with them. You don't have to spend time dealing with the large home. You want to be more mobile.
Okay.
Then a lot of them are just moving in with children or moving towards an area where their children are located. And that's why there's a lot of movement in the country, because most of the kids, they'll go away to college and they're not going to come home. And they typically find a partner there that they're going to spend the rest of their life with. So, and then they build their life there. So what we're finding is that around the country, baby boomers are just moving. They're selling and moving. Right? And having that network that we have here at Keller Williams, the largest real estate company on the planet, having the resources to connect them, we are in our Keller, our referral system is outrageously a great opportunity for all of us in the system to be able to benefit from it and serve our clients at a high level. So the other portion is care homes. Care homes are where you basically need care, meaning somebody can't take care of themselves for whatever reason. Oftentimes it's going to be a physical challenge. We're getting older and we need help with our activities of daily living, our ADLs, breathing, ingesting, grooming, toilet incontinence, that type of thing. You'll also need help. Maybe mom or dad is getting more forgetful and they need to go into a memory care community, a facility. That's pretty much a lockdown community where they're safer, so they don't. Dementia goes in two different areas. One is where they're a wanderer and they're a risk to themselves and other people, and the other is they're just very forgetful, and sometimes they get abusive. Right? I mean, sometimes they'll get to a point where everything that they forget where they put, they're gonna think somebody stole it. Right? And so there's a number of different challenges that happen when we get older. But care homes is a solution that we've actually helped people place them in care homes and then sell their home. Okay. The biggest area we spend most of our time with, and will in this group coaching, is the retirement communities. Because these are able-bodied, able-minded individuals that are proactively making a decision to go into a retirement community and make those decisions while they can. Okay. And that's why we built this thing called the Senior Living Options, because we're the place where they go to find their solutions. Right? We go there. We're the place that they can call to say, I know what this community looks like and feels like, and here's some data that can help you make that decision. Here's a Joe who's at the retirement community. If you like, I can connect you with them to give you a tour. That kind of personal relationship really matters, right? And that's how it's helped us build our business and build referral systems in the network.
Gosh, you've been doing this for quite a while now, over a decade. You've mentioned things like ADLs and memory care and retirement communities and care homes. There's a lot to understand. So, I'm sitting here going, why is it important for me to know this? Why don't I just sit back? You've already told me that there's a number of valid reasons that seniors want to move. Why wouldn't I just wait and sit around and wait for them to list their home with me? Why do I need to know all this?
Well, because you can sit and wait for it, or you can be proactive and build a pipeline that's big, long, and wide, right? You want to get ahead of the next realtor, because in the shift, there's going to be a lot of realtors looking for business. You want to be ahead of them already, right? What you want to be is you want to be the expert. You want to be the senior living options expert. Imagine branding yourself in your community as a senior living options expert, and you know all the different communities, you know what they're like, you know how much they cost, you know what the amenities look like, and you have clients there, right? That's how you're going to build referrals to you from these retirement communities, but also the entire network, right? So attorneys and CPAs will all call you, right? But from the end user and their adult children, they're right now seeking for options.
Okay.
As Gary was, he was looking for an option for his mom, and he didn't know where to go, right? And you want to be that solution. You want to be that senior living options expert. And you can do that by doing enough research, right? And in our course, we'll talk about how to do that effectively and efficiently to get there faster.
I guess I see it like any seller would, which is they'll call an agent and say, please list my home. And if they interview various agents, some will say, of course, sign here. I'll put a sign in the yard, and we'll get it into our multiple listing services feed. Others will say, well, take a more consultative approach, look at the home, give suggestions, offer different services that they can provide to help improve the value of the home. And it sounds like your approach to the senior living options is kind of that approach, but on steroids. The amount of information and knowledge that you know, which I think would provide a lot of comfort to the senior. Right?
When you're dealing with an older adult, it's really about the relationship, right? It's about how they feel when they meet you. They don't really care how great you are as a salesperson. They don't care how many sales you close. How can you help them get to their goal? And more importantly, how are you going to feel about it? Right? How do they feel about the process, the relationship? And then also your knowledge. Like, do you know where I'm going to go, and do you know what that's like? Because the more that you know about it and understand it and can share it, people are going to start calling you for advice from all over, from governmental agencies, from private agencies, from children of older adults. They're going to start calling you. And really, it's all about they got to know that you care, right? And if you're here for the commission, they say they get commission breath, right? You walk in, they can smell you a mile away. Or if the way you present yourself and the questions that you ask are really caring about that individual, about where they're going to go and why they want to go there and when they'd like to be there, that's going to help you better be able to create that relationship.
Mm-hmm. Good point. So I guess they're more like the handshake generation versus the Google, I'll just Google it generation.
Absolutely. Some of our clients don't even have a computer, right? Some of them don't even have cell phones. I mean, when you're dealing with the 80s and up, some of them just don't. Yet they're still got to sell their home, right? And once, some of our people will call us and say, I want to sell my home, and the first question is, where are you planning on moving to? Now, the easy ones are the ones that say, yes, I'm going to this retirement community. I've already put my money down. I'm ready to go. Those are the easy ones, right? The challenging ones are, well, I just don't know. Okay? And so if you have solutions to that question, versus the next realtor comes in and says, well, good luck, call me when you're ready, you're likely to get that business, right? So the first
and I guess they won't sell until they know where they're going to go.
They're not going to
sell. So if you can't help them with that, they're not going to sell.
Yeah. And that's how we move that process along sooner than later, right? by taking somebody who doesn't know where they're going to go, help them process, give them a tour, show them these areas, get them to understand that it's easy to move. And then as you walk them down the journey, they're not going to sign with anybody else because you're their friend that's taking care of them.
So now I get your point as to why it's important to know this information.
Yeah.
Because there's trust that you need to build. You need solutions for them.
Yeah.
And without that trust in those solutions, they may never sell.
Yeah, well, they won't until they know where they're going to go. And being that solution really helps them. And you know what's so funny? Because it's not only them, they're telling all their friends that are the same demographic. Right? Their network's bigger than you think because, you know, they're not texting their friends. They're actually having they're having coffee at McDonald's. You know, they're talking to people and they're talking about you.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, well, earlier in one of the slides, you'd mentioned working with seniors. You found that they over time have accumulated a fair amount of wealth.
Yeah.
And so you're dealing with them on their primary home, but also other investment properties that they may have. So share a little bit with us about that area, managing real estate assets.
You know, when we first started, it was really about senior living options and helping them process through their own home that they live in. And then as we started talking to more and more, we found that they've accumulated wealth through real estate, right? And they have assets. I mean, some of them have inherited them from their parents, right? And they just have them and they don't really do much with them, but they have them. Like many of our clients have anywhere from 3 to 16 different properties, and they're in different states, right? They just inherited them, or they bought them a long time ago, and you know, there's a lot of equity there. Right? I mean, over time, that thing has grown and appreciated over time, over the years, you know. And some of them are just, you know, believe it or not, some are just land, right? They own this land, and obviously land doesn't give you any money, right? So there's no income on that. Or if they're a rental property, then maybe they haven't changed the rent in a while. So what happens is they're really underperforming, right? So we do this thing called an asset performance test where we help our clients better understand how an asset's really performing as opposed to any other investment property that they own, real estate and otherwise. Right? And that way it gives them a better handle on what should they do, what could they do to create generational wealth for their family, right? And really, a lot of them, they just don't want to manage real estate. They don't want to have to deal with it anymore. Somebody had a question here.
Yeah. Okay, so there seems to be a lot of opportunities there, is what you're saying then. And it came from just dealing with the different seniors that you've had as clients and discovering that along the way?
Yeah. It just grew and morphed in itself. As we started asking more questions, we found that there were more opportunities in the market than we originally thought. Right? They have a lot of money and they have a lot of wealth.
Okay. So thanks for sharing all those different views on the senior market and where the opportunities are. And so now I'm in a situation where I'm going, okay, what would happen to my business if I were to focus now on the seniors? So perhaps share with us what it might look like if I were to go into this space and how it might impact my business.
Well, you can go into the space, and many agents are going to dabble in it, and then they're going to walk away from it because it doesn't generate enough income to sustain it. Or the others will actually dive deep into this and grab a hold of it and really create a moat around their business. You know, those people will dominate in this space, right? And what they're going to find is that in their market, there are a lot of seniors that have a great deal of what we call old money, right? Money that came from earlier generations, not something that they were creating, but something that was passed on to them. They're going to find these clients with older money of wealth, right? Imagine, like Gary says, put a bullseye and you want to focus on the middle of the bullseye. But what if the middle of the bullseye was a wealthy older client, right? Because the millennials don't have enough wealth, right? They haven't accumulated enough. The only way you can accumulate is over time, typically. And so you're looking at the baby boomers and older, right? And, you know, most of these investors, they own more than one property, right? It's really rare that we have a client that only has one. many of our clients own more than one. And as we work with them on maybe selling and buying, we know that if you sell, you're going to have a capital gains tax liability. So the 1031 exchange really comes into play. And what we're finding is in most markets, not many agents are really astute into the mechanics of a 1031 exchange. Mm-hmm. They don't understand how it works and or have that confidence in sharing it. And over the years, we've built that because we've done the most 1031 exchange in our market. And we do them all over the country. And with our network, again, it's what an amazing opportunity to be able to connect people for your clients in areas around the country. So the 1031 exchange is what they do is they allow you to obviously get at a minimum 2 transactions. Some of them were selling 1 and buying 4. Some were selling 4 to buy 1. So there are many different ways to do this. And being the 1031 exchange expert along with the senior expert, it's the same demographic. It's the same seller and same landowner that is older that have investment properties. Okay. And then what happens once you build that moat is you really become the resource in your community. Right? People are going to call you. The people that matter most really are the financial planners, right? Because where does an older adult go when they're concerned about their finances? Well, they're going to likely go to a financial planner or a private banker, somebody who's holding their wealth, right? And so imagine if that bullseye again was the people that the wealthy go to, right? The financial planners and the private bankers, and then trust companies, right? Trust companies are the ones that are responsible for a large trust. What are they doing with those assets? And then CPAs as well, right? CPAs are, people are concerned, hey, if I have to sell my house, I better check with my CPA. They check with their CPA, and the CPA says, well, yeah, these guys know how to minimize your capital gains tax with the 1031 exchange. Why don't you call these guys? Mm-hmm. And so the referral network is huge, and it's really designed to attract the older adult with wealth. And by doing that, really it's about securing listings. Keep in mind, our bullseye is the listings, but we get a lot of buyers out of this, right? Okay. Not only out of the listings, but these financial planners, these older adults, they've got kids who are buying, right? So we start with the people that have the real estate to sell, then everything else falls into place, right? And being that solution is something that allow you to attract this network and build a network.
Okay, great. So we're about ready to wrap up here. We can share with you group coaching program details, but as we're doing this, please feel free to type any questions you may have in the questions box. Let us know, and then we'll read them out and answer them as best we can. So here's a question that came in. So Dan, thanks for the presentation. Has had a pretty significant impact on your business. Percentage-wise, what does the senior market represent in your business?
Right now, honestly, it's about probably at 35-38%. Though it sprinkles over to the other parts of the business because that sprinkles into the referrals to other businesses. So if I had to look at how they're all connected, I'd say it's probably closer to 68-70% when you look in total, right?
Gotcha. You talked a lot about, here's another question. Okay, what is this? There seems to be a lot of interest in your investment clients, and you're doing 1031 exchanges. Will you be talking about that in more detail in the program?
Yes. So there's a whole section, an entire hour on investment properties and helping families to create generational wealth. So yeah, there'll be I think it's the module 3, the third week of April. So the class starts on April 2nd. It's I think that's a Tuesday at 1 o'clock Central Time, and it's going to be about an hour, and it's 4 sessions. So it's really, we're going to dive deep into how do you get a listing basically off of this business and off the market. And it runs what is it, 198? Yeah, the entire 4 sessions.
Another question. How can one present to a person the idea of downsizing? We know they are thinking about it. How do we bring that to the conscious mind?
Well, downsizing would be for first question is we need to understand what their pain points are, right? So when you come into a client that, so for example, what they have too much stuff, or they want to downsize from a large house to a smaller house.
I think the orientation of that question is how do you give them that option, and how do you share that with them such that they can feel accepted and want to move in that direction because perhaps their home is too big, right?
Yeah, well, a couple of questions that we have, and we have a series of them, that we're going to present in the classes. Is your home too big now that the kids are gone? Maybe you have a 3, 4, 5-bedroom home, and it's just maybe you and yourself, or maybe the home's just too much work to maintain. So we want to find their pain point. If there's no pain point, it's really going to be hard for them to decide to move, right?
Okay.
So it's really identifying and coming from curiosity to find out why would they want to move, right? And then just drill deep into that.
Gotcha.
Drill deep into the solution, and then the life that happens beyond this space that they're in today.
So visualization.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Do you have an in-house tool for asset performance test? I guess that's regarding investment properties.
Yes. Yeah, so there's a form that we use that helps people understand, and it'll be in the class as well. If I sold this asset that generates this kind of income, and I did a 1031 exchange, and I just went even to buy this other asset, and it'll generate more income, is that something I want to do? And what we've done over the studies that we've been working with this is probably about 9 out of 10 times you're going to generate more income off the asset. Right? And then the next question
is,
when
that's significant.
when would you like to do that?
Okay.
Because it's an older adult. A lot of them, they just, I have a great tenant.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't raised the rent in like 10 years. And it's obviously underperforming because they haven't caught up to the market.
Okay, how did you find the 55 plus demographic groups on social media? I'm having a difficult time with that. I have a listing in a Del Webb community, and it's difficult to market.
Good question. That's a marketing question. We have a marketing director. I should probably ask that question too. His name's Kyle. He's on this call as well. But we'll get back to you on that. If I had to guess, 55 and up, 55 to about 80, they're usually on social media, right? Beyond 80, we're seeing a great decline, right?
Okay.
So, baby boomers and up, people are looking at senior living options.
Okay. Well, we'll take a few more questions here, but let me just keep going through them. Here's a great question. Do you hold mastermind groups with vendors, parentheses, care homes, financial planners, etc.?
So what we found is, no, what we found more effective is how I started is we made a list of all of the network. And in that network, financial planners, case managers, gerontologists, then I just went and then I met them. And I met them face to face. I had coffee with them. But the goal is to create a relationship, not to throw a broad net and not get anything out of the net, right? So what we did is I spent half of my time lead generating for the buyer or seller, and spent the other half of the time building my network, right? And building the network is, I had a goal of 3 lunches a week. I do like to eat every day. So three times a week, I want to have a lunch with a financial planner, a CPA, a private banker, a case manager, right? And I would lead generate for that and build those relationships. And through those relationships, just one at a time, like one financial planner, as you know, has brought us, 5 or 7 listings a year, right? So it's really about finding somebody who has a similar model as you, a similar care and delivery, so that you can attract the same kind of client, right?
Yeah, similar question here, which is, what would you recommend someone start doing daily, weekly, as one starts looking into building networks, obtaining resources?
I think the first step is, again, creating the list, and then finding somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody that's in that market, right? And then say, hey, could you introduce me? So one of the 3 questions that I ask every senior that I walk into is, who's your financial planner? I'm writing that down. Who's your CPA? I'm writing that down. And who's your trust attorney? And the reason for that is, in the beginning, is I just needed to know who people were using. And then I'd call them and say, hey, our prospective client, Mrs. Jones, says that you're his financial planner. Would love to sit down and have coffee with you to better understand your model and the value proposition you provide. Is Thursday or Friday better for you? Now, from that perspective, if they want to grow their business, do they want to meet with me? Yeah, right? Because I'm coming from contribution to give them business, not take business.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
And then when I get into the meeting, then it's really about, well, better understanding them. And then here's what we do also. Is there a match? Do you think your clients can appreciate our services? And then that's how we slowly started building the network. It's going to take time, but it can work. During the broad net, and we did, so once we did that, we actually created an association. I don't think we just named it Elder Advocate Association, EAA. Elder Advocate Association was all of those advocates, some of which we knew, some of which we didn't know. And we invited them to our office, and we didn't know if anybody would show up. And 50 guys showed up, right? And so there, some that we knew, we're talking to the ones that we didn't know, and we're building that network. And so that's how you can create that synergy.
So I know you need to run off to a listing appointment in a few minutes here. So thanks for your time this morning. Why don't we take one last question here? I'll read it out to you, and then we'll adjourn for this morning. So are you finding that the average person who might own multiple properties is oblivious to the amount of equity wealth, and that's why they need an expert?
Yes, because a lot of them, they're older, and they really don't consider, they don't really look at that because, they're living day to day, they're living their average life in their average home, but they have this wealth that is appreciated over time. Mm-hmm. And no one's really saying, hey, let's take a look at what your portfolio really looks like, and let's put a value to that and help you with the net worth sheet. You can even help them with the net worth sheet.
Okay, gotcha. Well, any final thoughts that you might have for the group before we adjourn here?
No, I say it's an amazing market. It's a shift-proof market. That's why Gary asked us to come out and do this, because he knows that as we go through the shift, it's going to be harder and harder to get business and get more listings. And we know that listings are king. And these baby boomers and up, they're in the 55 and up, they're selling because of a situation, not because of the market. And that's why it's shift-proof.
Excellent. Okay. Well, thanks again, Dan, for your time, and thank you, everyone, for attending this morning. I'm sure you'll see more information about how to sign up. So if there's an interest, please do so. We'll kick off on the 2nd of April, and we look forward to helping all of you.
Oh, Kat, one more thing. Hey, I'm taking this great class, and there's a contest. And in order for me to win the contest, I have to get 10 referrals. So if any of you have any referrals for Hawaii, please message me. I want to win this contest so badly. I'm doing my Bold 100 today, as you can tell. Anyways, have a great day. Thanks so much.
We have over 100, so I think you've just made your Bold 100. Okay, thanks, everyone. Take care. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Mahalo.